Here's the #1 sign your developer isn't cutting it. No one really wants to ever be called a bad developer. The sad reality is, most developers aren't even aware that they're bad. So, what makes a developer bad and what makes them good? Hi, I'm Matt from Spring Digital, and today we're looking at how to tell the difference between good and bad developers. To start, let's understand a bit of the context of this word, bad. By this, I don't mean they are personally evil or deliberately setting out to secretly crack into someone's code and steal sensitive information. I simply mean the end result of what they produce is not great. In my experience of working with lots of developers, there are some common traits and types of behavior of bad developers. Let's look at these in some detail. Number 1, cowboy coders. Just like in the Wild West, cowboy coders are fast. They'll work on really tight timelines and they'll deliver something. However, that's something that's usually not software that has well thought out features or is built to perform and undergo stress testing. It tends to break easily, doesn't work when there's lots of users, and the experience is different depending on which device you're using. Number 2, genius level programmers who are entirely unreliable. We worked with this developer once. He was an absolute genius. He could write a program that would take 50 lines of code for even the best of developer, and he'd do it in 10. Absolute genius, but the most unreliable person ever. He'd come late to meetings if he even bothered to at all. He wouldn't be available to answer questions. He stayed up late at night gaming, and then he would come to work exhausted. Yes, he was great, but everything around him made it impossible to work with him as part of a team. For number 3, you've got developers who write messy, unreadable code with no comments. Imagine I gave you a cake recipe and told you the ingredients, but gave you no order, method, or process. How would you go? That's what messy, unreadable code is, with no comments. Bad developers write lines and lines of code and give no hints or comments as to what something does or how it works. Finally, bad developers tend to have lots of bugs in their code, which is basically anything that doesn't work as expected. They also fail to test their code properly for what we call scenarios, and then pass the work in as completed and hope their inferior work isn't picked up. If you're seeing any of these traits in a developer you've hired, watch out. You will eventually be paying for their mistakes. It mightn't be today, but it's eventually going to cost you. So, what makes a good developer? Number 1, good developers think carefully about how they'll solve problems. This is the most important trait because they deeply consider what they're building. They write methods before programming and are generally very methodical in their approaches. It's really easy to spot this trait in someone. They're the ones with a notepad and pen in front of them, writing notes as you're speaking to them. A good developer is sometimes annoying, but in a good way. They're the person that interrupts you to clarify their thinking and talk about how their code will operate at scale. This small 5-minute interjection means they don't waste 50 hours of programming something that's useless. Number 2, good developers are team players. Unless your project is really small, a team will be building it. And a good developer knows how to be a team player. They workshop their problems, assist junior developers, explain their approaches, and are just nice people to be around. Now, it's not the end of the world if you see a developer on your project has some of these bad traits. The key here is to understand how to manage them and how to get the best out of their work. For example, don't expect genius level programmers to conform to the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday mentality. Work with them to find out how they best perform and what you need. See if there's a fit. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you have other traits you know of, leave a comment below. Otherwise, if you're finding yourself stuck with a bad developer and in need of some assistance, head over to springdigital.com.au and get in touch with me. Until next time.